majorly focused upon psychological theory, which is the theory of planned behavior, which basically link our behavior and which basically link our behavior with our rules. And it is basically determined by the brain. First is the intentions, and second is the self-reporting behaviors that we make. We also came across by one of the major concepts that makes you think about it, that is the concept of dieting. And I must tell you that this concept of dieting, the main concept behind it is that if we eat less, we'll lose more and look more fitter. Actually, in looking at it, that is not actually the case. And one of the major reasons is prevalence of the occupation among the youth. We have seen that now our youth is more prone to job culture, job scenario, and these jobs are much more sedentary in nature, and they do not have the fixed working hours, so due to this we can focus on fitness. Next, please. So, in relation to my topic, I would like to start previous. I would like to say that the young adults are currently susceptible to a number of chronic health diseases, and one of the major problems that we are facing is obesity, which basically leads to poor mental health and also degrades the quality of our life. It has been found in a very important study that the period of adolescence, that is college years, is considered one of the most important times when we indulge into unusual eating habits. And in a report, it was being said that by 2010, the physical education requirement was dropped to 39%. That means nowadays people are not more interested in fitness. Unhealthy behavior cannot be tracked by eating only the fast food or doing exercise or not doing exercises. But one of the major components are also stress and but are also taking too much stress and lack of sleep. Next. So here are some of the works which are done. So first is methyl fog, and we stated that adolescence is one of the crucial period of the unusual eating habits, and it should be tracked so that we do not indulge ourselves into chronic health diseases. The second is Victoria is this year, and according to her, he made a study which stated that social media have a very positive impact on our life. Like today, people much more follow the trend on social media, and they have their own model in which social media influencers are one of them. Next. Then is Mahasa Konegi, and he found it that the healthy eating and fitness mobile apps play a much more positive role in fitness, and he reviewed top 100 health apps on Google Play Store and found in these stores that if people follow the health apps, then they have information, they suffer from social isolation, fear of receiving negative responses, and feeling of being controlled by apps. Next. So, in my paper, I have basically chosen survey approach in which I assess the relationship between the healthy behaviors as well as the fitness level of different age groups. In which it's a time to study, I have made a Google form and submitted people. There are 26 questions, and within in which we have 9 questions and 17 online fitness and health questions. Until now, I have James Conway. These are some of my research objectives to evaluate the dietary habits among the young adolescents, determine the possible results of engaging in this activity. Next. So these are some of my crucial findings that 52.7% of females of age group of 17 to 25 years who are pursuing masters prefer to go to gym rather than doing any other physical activity, be it calisthenics, to work out 3 to 4 times in a week, which is less than 40 minutes, that which are overburdened by their work or exertion. And majority of them prefer evening workout, that is a slot of 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and least good during the morning. And 70%, one of the issues is finding is that 70% consume part-time food, not because they do not have any energy or alternative, but they like it. I mean, they like the taste of it. And according to the fitness app, 68.5% for the daily fat, that's how much they consume. Yes. So in the last, I would like to say that according to me, fitness is very important in our life, and in addition to it, diet is also very important. As it is said that it's 70% diet and 30% fitness, which leads to good mental health.
Question answer. Question answer.
What prompted you to make this?
Now actually I'm fitness freak. I like to do workout, and so I basically want to write a research paper according to my own interest. So I made this.
So, how suggestion you would like to give to someone like this? Fitness freak or what would you demonstrate to your age?
According to me, one should always at least 3 to 4 times.
Because you are taking your age to 15 to 25 years. That's
This
the
is
way of
my finding,
right.
but I have covered the people from all the age groups. So I would say that I want to eat outside food because of the reasons also, and outside of fitness, because I feel that it's my personal opinion that when you also feel good, and also one should love their body, but should not engage in eating outside food and go out everywhere.
The next presenter is Mona Lisa. Excuse me. Who do the next?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Mona Lisa, and we are developing pursuing my master's in Amity Public Policy. And today my topic is on urban sanitation of Guwahati, a gender perspective. So at the outset, I would like to make the tangent that I'm from Assam. I'm from Guwahati. So my interest area is that. So as we all know, that sanitation, cleanliness, and hygiene is the most important civic virtues which people should have. Also, we have that urban sanitation, especially is seen to be almost the accurate indicator to measure the urban poverty and health problems. And my main research objectives, which are taking this paper out, is to study the urban sanitation status of the city of Guwahati. Then we have to study the women-related sanitation aspects through a perception study. I have been giving out Google Forms. So Google Forms has been doing a perception study about all the gender, especially male, female, and to study and understand the different perceptions of sanitation and health and their correlation. We also have to study the different areas of Guwahati and their immediate basic service problems, because I'm also looking at the fecal solid waste management and also the garbage solid waste disposal management of the city. And also to carry out a perception study of the solid waste management and the sanitation structure of the Next. So my central question of my study is: are the sanitation facilities prevalent in Guwahati satisfactory and adequate? And second follow-up is do gender-related sanitation issues need immediate attention and support. So this is an initial study going on. I'm still yet to, this is my fourth semester going on, so I have yet to get the respondents. So my max respondents will be 120, and right now I'm getting 169. So 4, 5, I'm picking both in my forms, and also I have viewed that the Guwahati city lacks in basically the female related toilets. Like the street toilets which in Noida or in Delhi NCR, you can see that those are lagging behind in Guwahati city. And also, when I was doing the perception study, I got to know their ideas on solid waste management. So, Guwahati Municipal Corporation also, they are not up to date in keeping collection of garbage daily basis and all those stuff. They are not that happy with the results by the government. Next, please. This is a small Guwahati city profile. So it's the biggest metropolis in the state of Assam, situated along the river bank of Brahmaputra. Assam is one of the prime producing regions, tourism and regional logistics. We have the total population of Guwahati city accounts for like 11,76,000. Then the Guwahati Municipal Corporation and Guwahati Metropolitan Development Authority, that is GMC and JMPA, they take care of the overall urban development. Guwahati city is divided into 4 constituencies, that is Jalpaiguri constituency, then Diskur, Guwahati East, and Guwahati West. It is a multi-layered, obviously it's a multi-layered evolving metropolis because soon there is a development coming up from metro and still lagging behind, but still there. And also on 16th of April, Modi is also going to inaugurate the AIMS. So this is the urban sanitation status of prime locations in the cities have toilets almost, because I have taken the reports from the government, the Ministry of Urban Affairs have taken the reports, and I've seen that the prime locations have the toilets. Women-friendly toilets are very few around the city, because as a resident I know myself, and I have been experiencing this in almost daily basis till the time I live there. Then fancy weather, these are few of the places over the city which are still yet to, like they are the proposed places for which we need e-toilets and also portable toilets. On May 2015, e-toilets were installed in the 2 of the prime places. Guwahati is a space constraint because it's a moving city, so it's facing a space constraint, and that's why portable toilets are something which are people are really looking for, and 2 to 3 of them we have, but still they are not in the running process. There is no good facility for on-site disposal of waste near the public toilets. Some of the initial findings of the study. So these are some of my initial findings. The survey shows that 73.4%, almost 75% of respondents are females, and as it's also a gender perspective study, so I have also focused on the female residents of the city. Also I want to add on to this that the Islampur area in Guwahati, that is the urban slum area, there many studies have been done where it's found that they don't know much about the WASH program, it's the water and sanitation and hygiene program. That initiative they don't know about, so it's a problem for them to keep up with the sanitation facilities and also the menstrual facilities they don't know about. The girls, adolescent girls, and also the the female population requires more female-friendly toilets in the city, as I have mentioned. Proper hygiene and menstrual-related products are needed for the toilets. This is about the she toilets, also the female-friendly toilets. There is a high need for that. Almost 40% of the population is dissatisfied with the facilities, and we have the 60% of the respondents and we seem to be partly satisfied with the facilities given by the GMC. Awareness among the city residents regarding the WASH program, I have also mentioned. They don't know much about this initiative taken. And e-toilets are a must around the city, as I said, also the portable. And also, I had a question on the new locating apps, which are right now very prevalent. They don't know about that also. So, few of them really have an idea about that. And now, inferences few of my initial inferences because still does happen. Very dissatisfied residents of the city regarding the solid waste management and also the she toilets. Also, the female residents are absolutely not happy about the entire sanitation facility given by the Guwahati government. Not many sanitation related policies and schemes and programs have been taken, but still NGOs are there to come up with several those programs and initiatives for cleaning up and cleaning initiatives and all. All for female-friendly toilets is there, a very high quality. In fact, there is a need for potable or bio-use in the urban slums of Guwahati city. First of all, there are many biodegradable ways of getting rid of the newer creation of different sanitation ways, but I think the government should really look on that and newer innovations can come up. The fecal management in the public toilets, sites and solid waste management should be upgraded. And the government should indulge more individual NGOs and organizations to be responsible for the management of public.
It will be very quiet. Now questions can be very helpful here.
So now we any drastic difference that you notice in terms of sanitation in Guwahati and as I said, the sheet toilets or the female toilets are here moving. Every almost there. Although they are in running status or not, I don't know much. But that in Guwahati is a problem because when you are out in the streets for work, this is the working population. They find it very difficult once they're out of the work. So that is one very vast difference which I have noticed of the areas here in our country.
But coming back to the question that you asked, can you think as to why there are more toilets with the range of in Noida as compared to that? And now I'm only actually need perspective, you take the gender perspective. So why do you think there are lesser, there are in fact very less? Okay, the fact that the yoga, it's an extent, it's close to hospital,
In fact, it should be the other way around because Northeast, I have seen the female population is given much more importance than the other areas in all over the mainland area. But I don't know why the government of Assam is lagging behind on that part of the country. Because it's bad that all the females are going through that, and I think that's something which they are neglecting that part because they don't really care about also the people like transgender people. The neutral toilets are also one of them has come out in Tejpur University in Assam. There they are taking the initiative of she toilets are there, and also the male toilets are there, but also there is for the transgender people. So they have proposed this idea to the government of Assam. Now it's on them that
very true. Actually, not much system will because here you have no women working outside on the home, going to school, university, or teaching or doing that job or whatever purpose. There now is what now you're understanding what it will say when you step out, you don't get question.
yes.
Right? So now this one of the very you always see try to understand it from that perspective, try to find out what is the number of how you actually see that the number of women stepping out of the house, going out for jobs, etc. for work, or for studying. As the number increases over the country, yes, it is to the needed environment. And you can send a proposal to the Guwahati, so like you have in the MC there would be Guwahati. So your studies better and perhaps you think from that perspective and then set up a proposal based on it. Is it not the presentation that I understand? Yes. That's what and that's part of the these are studies, primary studies are what is required. They don't need that.
So what is I just gender, female, male, nation, Guwahati. Like, do you have any idea? Does it contribute to gender perspective if you're studying here? Is there a much like lower or on the basis of sex ratio? And I think as ma'am had mentioned about before Guwahati city didn't have much people migrating into, but all the northeastern states they come into Guwahati city for major work because that's metropolitan. So people, the ladies in the Assamese, the traditional Assamese families, they are more of like they work at home. They are the housewives. They don't go out, step out. But now the younger generations are coming out for because we have the Cotton University or the Nandi University in Nandi College in Guwahati, and they are under the Guwahati University. And for that reason, they come out and they study there in Guwahati and then they start working there. So I think the female population has very evidently grown up. Like it is enough from the last past years. I think that's the question. Thank you.
We would like to call Devika ma'am.
So you are correct. We are all in different homes. I was one level with it. Okay, yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Deepika Sharma, teaching in Amity Institute of Public Policy. Today I'm presenting my paper titled Digital Bridging the Gender Gap in Technology Governance. We are all well aware of the fact that gender bias and gender discrimination has been a deep-rooted age-old feature of our society. And unfortunately, to see that same gender bias, that same gender gap being manifested in technology governance as well. And we have used the term digital technically. We have used the term digital. Interestingly, this is also the theme for the International Women's Day 2023. And digital, as the term itself suggests, aims at making digital governance more inclusive from the gender perspective, and trying to take women along in the digital technology revolution, and making women important stakeholders in technology governance. That is why we have not just said digital governance, it's a digital, making it all inclusive and women in the process of revolutionizing governance and making them important stakeholders in technology governance. Next slide. So I think first raising the issue of gender equality in technology governance. Why is it an issue, and what can be done to bridge this gender gap? Now, first and foremost, we say that women have been excluded from policy making processes related to technology governance. And this is reflected from the fact that less than 29% of the STEM researchers, STEM is an acronym which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. Less than 29% of STEM researchers globally are women, which in itself is a minuscule minority. And women, if they don't belong to the technology sphere, if they are not, researchers and cannot receive higher education in the field, they will not be able to contribute meaningfully to policy making in that field. So this figure itself shows why women have been precluded from policy making process in technology countries. And if they are not there, they are not important stakeholders in framing
agenda in making policy and implementing policy related to technology governance, then it is natural that women's issues will not be reflected in even the agendas for technology governance. Leave aside making policies to address their issues. If women do not find place in the policy making arena related to technology governance, their issues will not be reflected in the agendas. That is where, that's where the problem begins. That women are not excluded from the policy making process itself related to technology governance. When we talk about data use, or when we talk about the issue of privacy or ethics in technology governance or the use of artificial intelligence, even when we examine closely how algorithms work, algorithms form the basis of machine learning, which in itself is the basis of artificial intelligence. We see that the gender bias is so pervasive, it is so universal in all of these important basic foundational areas affecting technology. That is where we can identify the root of the problem. And this exclusion of women has had cascading effects. If women are not included in the whole process of policy making, their issues will not find mention. If their issues are not reflected, cannot assume that their issues would be addressed as far as technology governance is concerned. Now, another dimension of this gender bias is digital gender-based violence. Now, women, especially the working women these days, they are using online spaces, and this has, in fact, digital gender-based violence has become another occupational hazard that they have to deal with. And there are numerous reports which suggest that women who are using online spaces in a professional context for their professional use, they are increasingly subjected to digital gender-based violence. Let's say, say hate speech or insult or defamation are some of the few manifestations of digital gender-based violence. And women are targeted, particularly say women of color, black women, they are lower at the receiving end of such digital gender-based violence. They are targeted for their personal profiles, for their personal traits, for their personal characteristics. And this is something which is rampant. Not that gender discrimination did not exist earlier, because very a perennial feature of our society. However, technology has only exacerbated the problem, has only aggravated the problem. And we see that the volumes of data that are dealt with in technology governance, the volume of data that we see, and the anonymity, which is another factor which makes this problem more rampant. The volumes of data that are involved in technology, the use of artificial intelligence, and the fact that we need not even reveal their identities when they are making some comments about women. That anonymity again is something which tends to encourage people to indulge in digital gender-based violence. So this is in fact something which is drawing the attention of policymakers all over the world. This is just another dimension of the gender-based violence, which has seen another manifestation through the technology revolution. So yes, it is a paradoxical situation. On the one hand, we are seeing technology governance grow, we are seeing it advance, and on the other hand, sadly, we are also seeing the negative aspect of gender discrimination being amplified through advances in technology. So this is, something which needs introspection and something which needs to be addressed. not just through policy making, but through greater sensitization. We cannot wholly and solely attribute, technology to this problem. There are socio-cultural aspects which are involved. Technology is just, another dimension of digital gender discrimination being exacerbated. Any such sentiments? Now maybe we can go a basic question of the pitfalls of technology governance from a gender lens. The very basis of technology governance is artificial intelligence, machine learning. And if we, look at this question from a more foundational point of view, we will see that all artificial intelligence data is drawn from human beings. It's drawn from human beings. Human beings form the source of the data that artificial intelligence generates and collects. So, interestingly, whatever discrimination or whatever inherent biases we as carry against women, against the fairer sex, that gets reflected in the AI data as well. Because the AI data is generated through human beings. It's not coming from anywhere else. So that is how same gender bias that we witness, that we come across, we ourselves are subjected to it. It is something, that is given another manifestation through AI, because AI data finds its source from human beings, and therefore this deep-rooted prejudice against women that we find in our societies is again amplified and reflected through AI data, because the source of AI data is our human beings. And therefore, we can see that facial recognition technology, as an example, is something that misidentifies women of color. It's not even able to identify women of color or black women, the way they are. Why? Because the algorithms that are built into machine learning and artificial intelligence, they do not identify, they see women as just fair women or good-looking women. So black women or women of color, this technology is something which is particularly biased against women of color and black women. So we see that facial recognition technology, there's a lot of work going on in India at present at the policy circles, and there's a law which is, in its embryonic stage about facial recognition technology. This is something that has to be delved into deeply, because our algorithms, from where the machine learning learns and gets its data through past user experiences, all of that does not even identify, amplify women, black women, and women of color as they are. They are misidentified facial recognition technology. This shows that, again, it's an ironical situation. On the one hand, we are talking about technology growth, we are seeing how the technology growth is bringing us down in terms of gender equality. And even though we may have made giant strides in various fields of gender equality, technology governance is one area where this goal of gender equality seems elusive. There's a lot of work which needs to be done in this field, because technology governance is only serving to reinforce the pre-existing gender-based inequalities, and it's exacerbating them. Yeah. We'll be using a mix of qualitative and quantitative research methods for this study, and we'll be focusing on the risks and opportunities of digital revolution from various viewpoints, focusing on the education sector, employment, social benefit services, and what risks, what promises and pitfalls digital revolution holds from the point of view of education, employment, and social benefit. especially for women, what it has in it for women. And we try to bring forth policy recommendations, which need to be accounted for, bridge this gap in technology. It's not that women are not working in the technological sphere. It's only that even though there's a minuscule proportion of them actually involved in this field, the ones who are working in this field, their contribution is lacking acknowledgement. Their contribution is not being given due weight. It is not being acknowledged, and it is not being, we are not drawing from the experiences and the expertise of women who are already in the technological sphere, talking about in this field, and who are contributing. Although their numbers are very small, we need to look at how women's contribution in this sphere can be, heightened. But women who are already there in this field, their contribution needs to be acknowledged, and we need to learn and apply what they are giving to us to their knowledge and skills. Thanks.
Actually, we have one online. And there's one more online. There is the next. One more.
Yeah, will you be sensitive?
You please open the chat for one social unlocking.
Right, as
Oh no,
a
here
PPT.
for PPT. Vaishnavi.
Yeah.
Upforging health resilience system in India and Europe. Vaishnavi. Are you introducing the presenters? Like, who are they? Just written in the SOP that is sent.
And everything like now to just do the last part of this. Who was with you? Why was I placed here? Who was with you?
Good afternoon, Vaishnavi. Hello. 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 Good afternoon, Vaishnavi. Hello. No, she's not responding.
Bhumika?
Vaishnavi. Hello.
Is she there? Where's Mocha? Hello? Mocha? कितनी गंदी राइटिंग में लिखी है साइन Are you sure? We are not responsible for that. Yes. Maybe not. That is not Why should be shifted? Sorry, why should be shifted to the morning session?
Like she asked for it to
She
be
asked for it.
shifted.
There are other people presentations like that for the post-match session, right?
We can't do that now. Because the fortune is different.
Yeah, but I'm asking there are people
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
presentations like that. Okay.
See, I can't open the breakfast there, like, let's see which one is which one.
Online, offline, online, offline, one, two, 8 of them. Each
Hello? Is this Vaishnavi Namir? We are waiting for you. Oh, you are on screen. Can you please log in? Hello? Yeah, we will share your slides. So you just need to unmute yourself and switch on your camera. Hello? Okay, thank you.
Right.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello, yes, ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Should I share my slides?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is me, Vaishnavi Namdar. I will be presenting my paper on surging health resilience in India and Europe, social medical perspective. So, as we all know, COVID has been a tough phase, not just for one country or a few of them, but it affected the globe as a whole, and it has wreaked havoc on the global equilibrium. COVID-19 was first observed in China on the 11th of March 2020, and you could see there was a lot of chaos in the healthcare system because it was a very new phenomenon that was launched, and the healthcare system could not cope up with it in the initial period. Hello?
Can you take it?
Hello? We have an online presenter.
What's the name of the student?
Vaishnavi Nampir.
Vaishnavi.
Yes, ma'am.
We are not able to show it there.
The speakers are not working.
Chalo, koi baat nahi. Yes, start Vaishnavi.
Okay, ma'am. We should start. Okay. So today, good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
You have Vaishnavi and Dr. Suesha.
Yes, ma'am.
Jaipur, yeah.
Yes. So shall I start?
Yes, Vaishnavi. Start. Can you speak? Vaishnavi, are you able to hear us?
Yes, yes. I can hear you.
Volume is full in this case.
Shall I start? Hello.
If you have, you can connect your phone and you can speak to her. But then,
Hello.
okay, then we will. Yeah. Continue, Vaishnavi.
This is a presentation.
ठीक है.
Tell her to start. Shall I start? Hello. Hello.
Yes, speak.
Okay. So today, me Vaishnavi Namdar will be presenting my topic on paper on upsurging health resilience system in India and Europe, a social medical perspective.
Continue.
Okay.
Vaishnav, not audible.
So, as you all know, COVID has the COVID phenomena has been like 2 years old now, and it has just hit not just one country or few countries, but it has hit the global area, and it has wreaked havoc the global equilibrium. Pandemic was first launched in India on the 11th of March 2020, and has caused a global chaos, not just in one area of life, but different areas, especially the healthcare center. The healthcare facilities were initially
facing problem with respect to the treatments of the patients because it was a new disease. Uh, but slowly it gained resilience and consciousness in treating COVID-19. So what needs to be studied is the healthcare systems across the world had faced problems. But how exactly did they face the problem? What were the challenges? What were the consequences of those battles? And what exactly needs to be done, needs to be studied? And so this paper would be handling the comparative study on the healthcare system of India and Europe and how it faced the barriers, what were the consequences, and what else can be done, what lessons can be learned from each other in order to steer path with respect to the physical and mental well-being of individuals. So how this paper is relevant is that the paper would be carrying a comparative study of a developed country, that is European countries and India, a developing country, and studying the coping mechanisms and styles and how it could overcome the situation. And unlike the previous literature that focused only on the challenges that are present in the healthcare center, the healthcare system, this paper would also be studying on how exactly, what kind of implementation can be conducted in order to overcome the challenges so that in the future times, we will be better able to confront such situations. So this paper will be integrating Seligman's 3D model of resilience and psychological capital model, the HERO model, within the healthcare context, which then can be applied to the global medical system or healthcare system for a better physical and mental security. The objectives of the study would be to synthesize the earlier studies that examined the efficiency of healthcare system both in India and European countries, and also citing the pitfalls in the journey during the global pandemic, and also what else can be done, what the lessons that could be extracted in order to face the same challenge, a similar challenge in the future. So this will be done. Implementations would be carried through two models that will be present in this paper, that is 3D model of resilience and the psychological capital model of growth mind. The methodology of the study is a thorough review of literature was conducted in which 35 studies were extracted from databases like PubMed and Scopus, and keywords include health system resilience, health system in India, health system in Europe, and pandemic COVID-19. The inclusion criteria includes the studies that examined the healthcare resilience system in India and Europe during the pandemic times, and the published research papers between 20 and 23. Between 20 and 23, because the pandemic started in 2020, and the detailed analysis was done on the papers that happened that were carried from 2020 onwards. The exclusion criteria would be the papers, research papers that were related to the health resilience system to countries excluding India and Europe, and unpublished research papers. So the results and discussion. So mainly it's divided into three parts: the barriers faced in healthcare system, the lessons to be learned, and the conceptual solution to the barriers. So coming to the barriers, the common barriers that could be examined of the healthcare system of India and European countries are as follows. Firstly, it was the insufficient management of health monitoring of individuals. Since there were very few healthcare facilities available, it was very difficult to examine the patients individually, and not much hygienic regulations could be implemented because it was a new phenomenon, and there were not much medical facilities upgraded enough to face the situation. So that was the first barrier. And the second barrier, similarly, there was shortage of hospital beds. So to cite here, in Netherlands, especially, there was a study conducted wherein there was shortage of hospital beds, and that actually created chaos between the patients because they were unable to access the healthcare system and they were forced to stay at home and not given much attention to the healthcare, and that needed to increase mortality and morbidity. The process of decision making was a little difficult for the healthcare professional because there was centralized decision making in both Indian and European countries, and since it was centralized, no personal solution could be given to each part of the country, or not based on what each country were facing. So, especially in India, there were regulations that were imposed in Kerala, Karnataka, and so on, but it couldn't be better implemented because they couldn't study the personal problems that each of the healthcare system faced in each country, each state. So that was a problem. And there was unequal distribution of budgetary funds, and there was reduced health professionals, which led to decreased equality of treatment of patients. And there was physical and psychological support across states, but there was not cooperation between the countries or between states while facing the situation. And that seemed to be an obstacle in the part while treating the COVID. And there was shortage of vaccine. We all know that there was shortage of vaccine, and vaccine had come pretty long after the COVID was reached. But the developed countries did have access to vaccine, but not the developing countries. So there was a shortage of vaccine across European and Indian countries. But apart from the common barriers that I spoke about, there are certain specific barriers that were observed in both India and European countries. For example, in India, there is religious beliefs and practices that influence the way individuals view medical treatment. For example, people belonging to certain social or political parties or belong to certain religious beliefs, they did not believe in the idea of vaccination because they had a different perception of the root cause of COVID. So um, um, this posed as an obstacle in seeking treatment, and that in turn affected the efficacy of the healthcare system. And similarly, political identities. So people of different parties had different views of the vaccination system. Because if I'm, for example, in the government, so if they launch vaccination programs and services, I would uh, I would tell the people that no, do not take the treatment because it's
Excuse
not
me,
true.
Vaishnavi.
Hello.
So sorry to
Yes.
interrupt, but your time is up. So could you please
Okay.
conclude it? Thank you.
Yes. I'll be fast. So similarly, healthcare system of European countries with also had problem with immigrants. Immigrants had lower access to healthcare system because they were considered second citizens of the country, and there were also language problems. So when the implementation were launched, it was always launched in the original language of the country, which led to immigrants to not seek healthcare system because they felt isolated and not being treated. So the little deprivation of communion also. The lessons to be learned are as a localized manageable system. Like in certain parts of the country, in India and Europe, there were localized manageable system. Uh, like in Italy, there was example of how a healthcare system was coping up with the help of the community. And they had personal implementations and regulation introduced specially for that state. So hence it was easier for them to treat the patients with the cooperation of the community. And collaborative efforts of global community. Best example would be Dharavi in Maharashtra. Even though they do seem to be an illiterate part of the community, they did succeed in reducing the frequency of COVID-19 among the community, and that could be taken as a very good example when we go further. Sharing of medical facilities and knowledge. So, knowledge of COVID-19 was spread across the country, and organizations like WHO did circulate notices and did share knowledge of what COVID-19 is, what are the repercussions of having the disease, and what can be done. So that was another lesson that can be learned, and acknowledgement of untrained professionals. So in Europe, there was an instance where they had in Germany, especially specifically, there was an instance where they had to join untrained professionals in the program because there were a shortage of health professionals. So, though it was untrained professional, it was an advantage for the healthcare resilient system because both the untrained professional as well as the patient got access to the healthcare system, and untrained professionals were at an advantage because they didn't get an one had experience in the healthcare system. So this can be taken as a lesson. So it is not just about the experience, early experience of the healthcare professional, but also how in a specific situation we can enhance the quality of healthcare professional by also joining hands with those who are not trained in the healthcare sector. So role of community in building resilient healthcare system. So what exactly can community do when such situation arises? The attributes of the resilient community, they are a resilient community is very strong. They perceive social support. There's a perceived social support among the members of the community, which helps them achieve a common goal together. It's learning from past experiences and they draft interventions that can be commonly be implemented with the help of each other and establishing link between people and places. So when people are more attached to the place, when they have more communion among the members of the group, it will be better and it will be easier for them to join hands and implement policies and regulations. There's active participation in the government. So the government do seek active participation from the community. It will be easier for community also to address the grievances and what the suggestions as to how healthcare system could be improved from their perspective also. And unified resolution of societal matters. So this similarly is said, if the union members, if the members of the community do think that the problem could be tackled if they face it together, it would be helpful and be more easier while tackling the challenge. And bridging the differences, there will be many differences between the members of the community, but if they forego those differences and decide that yes, it's time for us to come together so that we could fight the goal, then there would be a better individual and social identity, and also they would feel better if they contribute towards the solution of the problem. Now, applying the Seligman's 3P residence model, how exactly can Seligman's model be applied within the community healthcare center? So first, there are three pieces: personalization, perseverance, and tolerance. Personalization is where people personalize or they think that it's their fault or they think
Hello?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Now, session.
Ma'am, just two more slides and I'm done.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry, but
So I would just like to conclude by saying that 3P model and psychological capital hero model would help us understand how positive interventions can be implemented in the healthcare system with the help of the community.
Yes, we have seen your hard copy, which is soft copy, which we have on. So there is no point, like reading it out. We have already seen it. And just one observation. I have taken, and your as you can say that a comparative study as far as
Yes.
socio-medical perspective during the pandemic, right? So you mentioned
Yes.
here 3P model, right?
Yes. Yes. Hello.
Yes, Vaishnavi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Yes. I can hear you.
So, just I have one question. Since
Yes.
India and Europe, keeping in mind many factors which are there, like economic, social, cultural, And then keeping in mind, you say that, like being a developed country and being a developing country. So do you think like, this 3P model, which you are talking about here, work in the same manner in both the regions, or it was have some, you can say that major, you can say that, like different kind of impact or factors, pitfalls or consequences which you are talking about on healthcare system? Could you
Yes,
just
ma'am.
answer in
Yes.
2-3 lines, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
So 3P model that I have introduced here, this is the model that can be implemented in the global community, global healthcare sector. But as you said, there would be communal differences in different places. So uh, since this is a conceptual model, this conceptual solution to the problem, the future researchers can actually examine the efficacy of this model in different places, depending on the contextual factors and communal differences. So then we'll be able to understand how this can be adapted to each place, and also the positive effects, how the positive effects can be derived from the model. The model that's been given here is with respect to the global healthcare system and with in reference to India and European healthcare system in India and European countries.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Just wait. Okay.
Thank you so much. We'll be
Yes.
ending the meeting right now. We'll let you know
Thank
of
you,
the
ma'am.
results.
And okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If any query, you can message AIPP email ID.
Sorry, ma'am, I didn't hear you.
If there's any doubt, anything you want to ask, you can email us also. If there's
Sure,
anything
ma'am.
else you would like to ask.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
The same due to lack of policy regulation. Now, as a result, there is slow progress or a lot of greenwashing happening all around. Next slide. Now, suppose the relevance when we first talk about the current global scenario, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has only worsened the prospect altogether, including triggering the global food shortages, and which is a disappointing scenario. And it is actually affecting the poorest people of the world even more. Acute food insecurity has more than doubled of society, and developing economies are facing choices that would struggle to manage rising food costs, the harm of climate change, and the unsustainable debt burdens, which are which are a result of inflation and liquidity crisis. Now, the world's poorest countries will likely be slapped with a 35% interest in the debt payments this year. So these are just parts of data I have written down from my paper so that I should speak as much as I speak as much as I should if we have time limit. So women and girls are also a problem here. So women and girls, they have been a victim of the LGBT roadblock and pushed the world further from gender equality. Now, violence against women all across the world remains an endemic even today. The World Economic Forum estimates that it will take more than 130 years to even get close to the global gender gap that we are targeting. And a series of important moments that the year generate new attempts to make advancing action to protect the world's oceans. And at the COP15 on biodiversity, countries agreed to protect 50% of the world's lands, waters, coastal areas, and oceans by 2030. Okay, now I'll talk about global health, which is also part of SDG goals and one of the prime concerns. Now, as of December 2022, 72.8% of people is income countries had received at least one dose of COVID vaccine, compared with only 28.9% of people in low income countries. Now, this is again a concern because a pandemic fund was established to support low and middle income countries to strengthen preparedness for future pandemics. Now, beyond COVID-19, in May, countries agreed to significantly increase the proportion of flexible and predictable financing available. The World Health Organization and a global pledging conference for the Global Fund to fight AIDS, TB, malaria generated more than $15.6 billion in commitments. Let's move on.
You have a minute.
Okay, can you just move on to the discussion?
Sure.
So the research objectives and methodology are just mentioned very clearly. Whatever my questions are and okay, now the first thing is emerging. The first thing is emerging social policy in India. The reason I focus on India more because we are already studying this problem. The global picture also I'm given. So the first thing is business and inflation is one thing. So as per Press Information Bureau's report, a survey survey done by Ministry of Finance India focuses on both the positive and negative impacts of inflation. And the positives include limited health and economic fallout for the rest of the world for the current surge in COVID-19 infections in China, and therefore continued normalization of prices. And inflation release impulses from the reopening of China's economy turning out to be neither significant nor permanent. And the negatives are the tightening regulations by the RBI, which is not helping to move them forward. And after the impact of the 2 waves of pandemic, the GDP contraction in the financial year 2021, and the data is collected till November 2022, which I have also mentioned. And the next few things are okay, businesses and sustainable practices. So when we talk about the concept of business sustainability, I think the researchable bottom line is coming to the picture. It's the very basic of sustainable practices. So this has also been discussed thoroughly.
I'd like you to wind it up. I cannot
So
give
and
more
the
time.
rest of the things are just a minute.
Policy one can speak environment.
Yes, sir. Public policies and environment is when we talk about sustainable practices. So there are certain policies that are required to implement those practices. But there is no such policy to regulate those sustainable practices, and businesses are not actually aware, and they are also lacking experts in the same domain to guide them properly to take action in future. Like yes, sir, I'm talking about
social.
Yes, sir, I'm talking in terms of ESG, when it comes to environment, society, and governance. The corporations, businesses, they are still not as aware as they should be because their actions show that there is lack of business practices. When it comes to carbon emission, waste management, electronic waste management. For example, sir, Xiaomi is facing a lot of problems these days. They have been overburdened with a lot of taxes because they are unable to manage their electronic waste and yeah.
So the next presentation is from Mr. Naveen Naval, who will be presenting on the topic. So you're not audible.
Hello.
Yes, you're audible. Just a second, sir. I'll be sharing your presentation.
A very good afternoon to all of you. Sir, is I audible?
Just
Hello.
a second.
My voice is clear? Hello.
So
Hello.
just a moment,
Okay,
sir.
okay.
Can you please hold the phone? Can you please hold the phone? Can you please hold the phone? Just hold it. Sir, I'll be sharing your presentation. Is it fine with
Okay.
you?
Okay. So should I stop sharing from here?
Or I'll share it, sir. You can stop sharing, sir.
Okay. So I want. How can I know that series wise on the private explain?
So you just can you? Yeah, it's done now, sir. It's done now.
Okay. Sir. Okay.
Just a
Oh,
moment.
sure.
So is it visible to you?
No, actually, I'm my screen only visible.
So is it visible now?
Yes.
Just a second, sir. So we'll start in a moment. That's right. In external zero. I have this.
I know the password.
I know the password. The external zero. Naveen sir, are you there?
Yes. Hello. Hello.
So,
Should I start?
yes, sir. You can start with your presentation.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Naveen Naval. I am a research scholar in Grafika University, Dehradun, of Department of Humanities and Social Science. The title of my presentation is Summarizing the Push and Pull Factors for Migration Pattern in a Society. So it is a literature review. So before starting, I want to share some few data. According to International Organized Migration, the number of international.
So just a moment, sir. Naveen sir, just a moment. So can you please start now?
Yes, yes, yes. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Naveen Naval. I'm a research scholar in Grafika University, Dehradun, of Department Humanities and Social Science. The title of my presentation is Summarizing the Push and Pull Factors of Migration Patterns in Society. This is a literature review. So basically, before starting, I want to share a data that according to International Organization of Migration, the number of international migrants grew to 281 millions in 2020. It means it approximately 3.6% of the world people live outside their country of birth. In this 281, it include migrant workers, displaced people, refugee, asylum seeker, and many others. And second one, the Russian invasion of Ukraine has really the faster population movement since the Second World War. It means approximately 6 million people are displaced internally, and 8 million people refugees spread across whole Europe. And third, I want to share a story of Norkin and his son Yakub, who flew from Myanmar due to the atrocities by Myanmar military and Buddha and the Buddhist extremist group, Buddhists against them. His father and his siblings are killed in front of them. Luckily, he got saved, and now present he live in Bangladesh. So these are few stories regarding migration. And now I'm moving to my slide. So first introduction. So basically, in this my presentation, we were to conclude what are the push and pull factors which are responsible for migration. And second thing is that how are these factors are described earlier in literature, and what our study can contribute to the existing literature. So I think the gap. So basically, the migration research has been quite focused on across only diverse themes pertaining to the ancient old patterns and consequences for the same across the space. So now there is a need of reviewing these factors, that is push and pull. In this literature view, we will focus basically on push and pull factors. The former one related to it's the force or a compulsive migration pattern, and the later one, that is pull, is a more affirmative or a positive one. A positive one which will lead to newer opportunities or newer chance. So basically, what is goals of this presentation? The first one is to analyze the factor that is responsible for migration, and also to assess the factors at individual level, at group level, at regional level. And if there is any some special factor regarding to migration, we will to conclude in this. So methodology. So basically, this is an introductory framework for understanding the reason for migration. It is from two angles, that is push and pull. The review show driving the inference after a meticulous understanding of the themes across time and space. And this review is a primer towards furthering our understanding of a specific phenomena of migration. So, sir, finally, the reality is that is the push factor and a pull factor. The push factor, we can know that population explosion for improvised public service, economic benefit, and for good living, better living conditions, and political climate, such as we can see in Afghanistan, that Taliban, after Taliban, the people are moving there from some neighboring countries, India and Pakistan, natural hazards, security concerns. These all came in push factors, popular explosion, earthquake, avalanche, and many such as military coups, military coup following military intervention, all these considered as a reason for forced migration. On the other hand, pull factor related to the affirmative ones, where the promise for better livelihood and quality of life, draw to attention of individual for migrating, and economic well-being is one of the key determinants for the migration, and this is true especially for those hailing from developing countries, such as aspirational factors and other social factors, such as a single factor also, the single mother. For single mothers, they perceive a possibility of improved security, better home, increased economic opportunities, possibility of unleashed a family ties. So these are pull factors and push factors. They can be or more specific if we go deeper at a local level. So there are also different factors. So it concludes that the migration is not uniform across the world, but is shaped according to different regions. So basically, sir, with the discussion, the basically purpose is to give a general idea that what are the factors leading to migration, and the migration pattern are vary according to different areas. So, and the push and pull reason for migration also differ in all specific cases. So, what we can conclude that the during the research we can get the migration patterns, the trend, and what are the impact of migration in the society or country. And do the empirical investigation using the different variable responsible, we can know what are the patterns and what are the reasons for which are responsible for migration. The final, sir, policy, what we can recommend that that the policy makers should understand the migration pattern and should strategize the policy according to such as India, like developing countries should use the policy according to the pattern and idea according to pattern of the migration. It is anticipated that the policy measures shall be mitigate the adverse consequences for migrants and make the migrants endeavor more forthcoming and conducive. So basically, finally, I want to conclude this whole presentation in simple words that the migration is not uniform across the whole world, but it is shaped by economic, geographic, demographic, and many other factors, which we can conclude and push and pull. And if we go deeper on certain level or at regional level, then there are many other factors also which are leading to the migration. Thank you, sir. Hello. 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 Sir, if there are any question, I'm happy to answer them. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for this lovely presentation. Do the
Sorry.
chairs have any questions for us?
I'm
Thank you so
happy
much.
to-
No
Thank-
questions from the chair.
Sir, should I leave? Can I leave?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So in line, we have Mr. Saurabh Singh. Saurabh, sir, are you there?
Hello, sir. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. So I would ask you to turn on your camera, please.
Okay, sir. Okay, great.
Just a second, sir. I'll be sharing your presentation.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I share my slide?
No, sir. I'll be sharing it.
Okay, okay. Sure.
And so please adhere to the timeline, which is 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
So is your presentation visible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can start.
Good afternoon to one and all present there. My name is Saurabh Singh. I'm a PhD candidate at Veer Bahadur Singh Purvanchal University, Jaunpur. And my topic of research is on Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana and its impact on youth belonging to marginalized section on Varanasi region. My today's topic is a short insight into the skill development ecosystem in India. Everyone, as we know that skill and knowledge are the driving force of economic growth and social development for any country. Countries with higher level and better standard of skill adjust more effectively to the challenges and opportunities in a meeting. So at the present time, India is having one of the largest, youngest population in the world. And if you talk about the data, 62% of the total population, the age between 15 to 59 lies in India, which is considered as one of the youngest population in India. That is why we are having a demographic dividend at this particular time. And in order to become a world skill capital in the world, we have to be industrial. We have to have employable skills and industrial skills so that we can dominate the world market in terms of technology, IT, and other skillful related jobs. But the problem is that Indian employers have been struggling with the acute shortage of manpower, despite India having the largest pool of youngest population in the world. So here comes that what we have done so far in the field of skill development field. Since independence, and if we say that 1960s and 70s, we have several programs in the field of vocational education and in the field of skill development. Like we started ITIs, IITs, formation of UGC, and Apprentice Act was enacted in 1961. And in 2009, we had National Skill Development Corporation. And finally, in 2014, under the Union government, we have today we have a separate department dedicated to skill development, that is Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And Skill India Mission is one of the major program that is run by that ministry, which focuses on the skill development, training, and placement related thing in the present era. So Skill India Mission is one of the prominent prominent program under the government of India to culminate and to change the demography into a demographic dividend so that we can dominate the employment in India and in other countries as well. Sir, can we go to the next slide? Some more, sir, more. These are things I've presented. Yes, sir. Further.
Further.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One more slide. One more slide to go. I would like to result and discussion. Yes, sir. So India is now witnessing a range of discussions. India is now witnessing a range of activities being undertaken in terms of program and policy initiatives by the state mechanism as well as universities and institutions in the field of skill development in the country since independence. Sir, next slide. So next. Yes, sir. But now we are having a separate dedicated ministry. We have a skilled India, such a gigantic program. But if I've taken data from a committee report that mentions that out of 3,99,860 certified candidates under Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana.
Sorry to stop you. The session
Yes,
chair
sir.
has a question for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are the sources?
Sorry, sir. Question is not audible.
Sir, the session chair is asking what are the sources for your data which you have used in your paper?
Sir, I have mentioned that the data I have mentioned, it is from a parliamentary committee on skill development, and this report has been published 2 months before. So this is data from the parliamentary committee on skill development, and the data said that out of 3,99,860 certified candidates under Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Yojana 3.0 version, only 30,599 were reportedly placed. So this is the lacuna we are having, that there are so many candidates have been enrolled in the program, but only out of that share, only few percentage of students are getting placed only. So this is one of the problems we are.
The session chair is satisfied with your answer, sir. So I would like you to continue with your presentation. And please wind it up in the next 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, sir. India is currently faces a shortage of well-trained skilled workers. It is estimated that only 2.3% of the workforce in India has gone under formal skill training compared to 68% in the UK, 75% in Germany, 52% in USA, and 80% in Japan, and 96% in South Korea. Sir, can we go to the last slide? I would like to talk about the recommendation. Yes, thank you. So if we talk about the recommendations, it will be placement statistics should be the real barometer for evaluating any skill development policy. And distance from resident to training center and accessibility to a job factor is the area where interventions can be made to prevent dropouts. And if you are talking about skill development and vocational training, our discussion would not be over without talking about the new education policy 2020, because this is the new education policy 2020 has really tried to integrate the vocational education and the general education so that in the future the student whoever will qualify their 10-12 examination, at least they'll have more options to go for any skill related job, and apart from their traditional education they can go for skill related jobs. So we'll have more students who will be readily available for the jobs, and unlike the today we are facing the problems of employability and skill deficit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for this lovely presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So now we move on to the next participant, who is Miss Divyanshu and Mr. Wajahat Khan. So now I'll be sharing a presentation.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, who's this?
Is session is going on, or shall I close the event?
Yes, sir, you can.
Shall I close, or it's going on?
So it's going on.
But the audio is not coming, so that's why I'm asking to you.
No, so it's
Whoever,
going on.
whoever is presenting the PPT, so they can just come to the podium and then speak, then the audio will be coming.
So, can you go again? You're not clearly audible.
I am saying whoever is presenting the PPT, na, come
Yes, sir.
where you are speaking, na, if they speak there, then the audio will be coming.
Okay, sir. Okay.
qualification, European qualification. Here we can work nothing else than then there's industry academia collaboration, like work with the government. People can learn as well as get hands. In India, some colleges qualify, some kind of apprentices, we open allied productive national. These both are engineer. And in India, we study them after now, one of the most important part that is
From here, I will start.
The second one can be the focus and be better. People think that in most serving countries, policy. That's when a person again we have to make what transparency is needed. Policy. If concerns integrity and as important university we need to lastly, a separate council can be made for providing roadmap of we have more councils and we have a huge
Thank you so much, ma'am. So now, moving on to the next presentation, which would be given by Mr. Vivek Singh and Miss Ayushi Rastogi.
Our topic is goals and aspirations of future leaders. Study of that. Myself, Vivek Singh. I am a thesis scholar from Ireland University. This is Ayushi Rastogi from Kochi Global University and doing Masters in Public Policy. As we know that we are a developing nation, and in front of us we have many challenges. One of the challenges is how India is failed. Hopes and aspirations of future leaders. Future leaders. Why we have chosen this particular age group person? The first, the proportion of older person in the overall population is low, 8 points. Their overall number is very high. Around 10 crore people are elderly. This is projected to more than double by 2036, around 22 crore population. And it will reach around 42 crore by 2060, which is a four-fold increase in 50 years last year. Second, aging in India is happening at a super quick pace. While the older population 110 years and 80 years to double its share from 7 to 15 in France and India respectively, it is projected to take only 20 years in India to double. The increase of our 60 plus population in 50-year time span, that is from 2011 to 2061, is expected to be more than 320 billion. In percentage terms, the amount to India's elderly population rising from 8.6 to 2011 to 12.5 in 2030, and by we can say like by 2050, every 6th person will be elderly. Third, India is aging before becoming rich. 2012 study, the United Nations Population Fund showed that poverty rates are highest among older persons. With a large portion of them being economically fully dependent, 52% are fully and partially age workers. Fourth, during 2000 to 2050, the overall population of India will grow by 56%, while the population 60 plus will grow by 326%, which is very alarming. And during the same period, the population 80 plus will grow 700%. So, with the predominance of widowed women, and the last one, the economic dependency ratio is almost 3 times the total dependency when we add the total number of young workers to 15 years in the dependent age. So, background. So, as you can see, that the general population and elderly population goes with. The increase in elderly population, we have a longer life expectancy. Talked about the improved health care, medical facilities, lower community rates. It is expected that the overpopulation will have increased by 12.4, but the elderly population will have increased by 2.7. And this is old age dependency. For 2021, the estimated dependency ratio for females is 16.7 compared to 14.8 for the males. And this due to considerably high urban and rural old age dependency due to rural and urban areas. So these are our research gaps. Please. Research gap. Only few studies have been conducted to know the expectations of future elderly, because the overall projection is for next 15 to 20 years. Yes. So study is very significant to address the problems and future challenges of the future. Almost none of the study have connected financing liquidity illiteracy to full dependency. How a financial illiterate person becomes dependable of the institution. Our objective is to study the socio-economic status of the respondents, to study the level of financial literacy among the respondents, and to draw the possible solutions and recommendations. For further analysis, I will share it. Thank you.
So I'm taking over the research methodology. So we have adopted stratified random sampling data, where we have this data as data group. However, we decided to group on the basis of socio-economic activities, like the occupation, the income status, the gender. So this basis, like the population sample was selected based on simple random sampling without replacement. And since the population is unknown and it's new, so we have and special
Sir, we have mentioned here that sir, we have selected 4 districts of Delhi and the selected districts of Delhi. South, east, north, and west. And our total sample size is 585. And the age group is 45 to 49, 50 to 54, and 55 to 59. Exactly. We have mentioned that we have used the Andrew Fisher's formula.
So if I want the results, so we like this data on. So we have that view here. So I would like to give you that, which also 10% of them said that they still here that not take care of it. However, the answer and people. If I move on the second section, then according to you, which are demanding service for certain companies and the government So I would like to highlight that majority of them, around 47%, hardly going on for the selection, we for the artist president, whether they face any violence with people. So I would like to highlight that 40% enrollee, future enrollee face this violence regularly. Moving on to the next question, are you going some kind of mental for the financial aid for people activate This is a discussion that we want to raise that to find out whether they are financially secure or not. So around 73% of them are not financially secure. That require financial. The next question for the lady is they are not really know about the new. So the outcome of the study, we found out that majority financially insecure and this research can be used as a policy intervention by the government as there are limited or actually no study available for the people who are going to turn out the elderly. Recommendation part. So there is an urgent need to increase financial plan because as we found out people are financially outwards. And the next point is that there is an intervention that the elderly care subject should be given the local example. The other countries like Japan, Cuba, they have like given the elderly care subject. There is a need for better implementation, like police that direction for the elderly. Next slide, please.
This is it. Start moving. This is it.
So we also had added the references. So I have to get the information. Also,
You have the pencil amount is not enough. It is not revised till I think 2000. So they are not in the market price. like आप अभी गांव में 350 रुपए गांव किसी महीना को आप देते हैं तो उससे क्या होगा तो रिवीजन की बहुत तो grandfather Again, the same and implementing things are two different things. So they are there in major gate.
Social security, very important aspect. Right. In the United States, social security is an important issue.
Yes, sir.
And they provide security every about 65. There is no such system. But they find it unpaid, huge income tax.
Yeah.
But no security. Even they were providing us relative. So politics is involved, everything is done with particular aim, which is something to vote. That's the main issue. just we have not any number of surveys, but the reality is what
They're completely agree with this.
the social security.
With this, we move on to the next presentation, which would be given by Dr. Neera Bhutani. I would like ma'am to please come over and take the center stage. Sure. No issue. We can even try this. Yeah, we don't have no issue. Just give me a time. Yes, sir. I'm done.
Good afternoon to all present here. I'm here to present on cities, growth, and public finance towards a new architecture. The aim of this presentation is to highlight the study of India's fiscal federalism framework in the light of international trends and highlight the key trends. An overview to be provided state of municipal finances in India and explore the reasons behind their precarious state. And then an attempt has been made to analyze the state of center-state decentralization versus state-centered local decentralization. Now, what are the determinants of economic growth? As we all know that cities are engines of economic growth, drivers of employment, generators of public finance resources, and catalysts of social economic transformation. A nation's long-term growth rate is linked to its technological process and labor supply. Economy's growth rate is reflected in terms of the level of capital and savings. Investments in innovation, human capital, and knowledge are significant economic growth indicators. Infrastructure, financial development, energy, etc. also indicate economic growth. Now, what are the factors which influence economic growth? The fiscal policies and urban development have a strong influence on economic growth. Developing countries like India have not explored urbanization as an engine of public finance and economic growth. We realize how important cities are. Cities form and grow to reap the advantages of agglomeration and networking. They enhance productivity and reduce the transaction costs. They generate economics of learning, matching, and sharing. They offer gains from market size, home market effects, and division of labor.
They increase returns at firm, industry, local, urban, and regional scale. When we look at the statistics, the world urbanization patterns, we find that the urban percentage all over the world is about 5%. In more developed regions, it is 8 to 7. In India, it is just 34%. So 31% of population is in urban areas. When we talk of the world urbanization trends and prospects, by 2050, we'll see that in India, 2.8% of the population will be in cities. When we talk of urban India and the contribution to national income, we see that when in 1951, the share of population was 70.3, but the share of national income was 29%. In 2007, it rose to 62 to 63%. But the contribution of urban areas to India's GDP is projected to increase to 75% by 2030. So by 2030, cities will be big contributors. Now, when we review literature, we find that influence is dependent on multiple factors such as character and pace of urbanization, the role of infrastructure, institutional settings, stage of development. The negative influence of tax burden on the long-term economy growth study, and the positive influence of tax revenue is definitely there on the economy and development. Inclusive evidence on the impact of urbanization on tax revenue generation can be seen. There is actually a need to club and study these three variables: cities, growth, and
What does it mean?
what else?
Institutional settings. What does it mean? You are talking about which type of
Institutions, the corporations and all, which collect revenues, cities. Now, all jobs are located in the central business district. Workers living in different parts of the city commute to the central business district to work. Living in city imposes costs. There is a trade-off between land rent or housing cost and commuting cost. The city increases in size to a point the cost of commuting is high enough, and workers live at city edge and work in central business district. Urbanization and state gross domestic product per capita significantly contribute to the tax base of governments, especially in the states. Per capita own tax revenue of states and components such as per capita sales tax, per capita stamps and registration duty, and per capita vehicle tax is linked to agglomeration. Planned development is possible if a part of these tax revenues are mobilized by shared with cities. Now, India's total tax revenue, both direct that central tax revenue, both direct such as personal income tax, corporate tax, excise and customs, and when we talk of the various own tax of states, both direct such as sales tax and state excise, are significantly increasing along with the increase in urbanization and gross domestic product. Hence, these taxes are linked to agglomeration and pan-India. Central direct tax revenue, total direct tax revenue, personal income tax, total indirect tax revenue, total tax revenue, central indirect tax revenue, gross central tax revenue are positively associated with urbanization. And local urban bodies may be enabled to have access to the corporation income taxes and goods and services tax to allow them to live agglomeration and common growth. That's all. Thank you. Thank you. I read long back a book by Dr. Mohanty based on this. So I had written down and I just thought to present. It was not my field actually, you know it very well. Just out of sheer curiosity, I happened to do that. Thank
So much for the patience.
So with this, we come to the end of the fact. Thank you all for your patient listening and being here. Now, I would like to call upon Amna ma'am for receiving her momentum and sound.
But I have some observations about the paper.
Sure.
At the very outset, I just want to say two words before I go for the next thing. Thank you so much for having me here. Introducing myself, Dr. Anna, and I was moving from BTS Makkaro, followed by that college and BA, bachelor's degree, and master's degree from University of Delhi. I'm in a board medicine at bachelor's at HTMS College and master's department of political science at University of Delhi. And I did my MPhil and PhD from Department of Political Science, University of Delhi. I was selected as the youngest or the youngest associate professor at Mitchell University, but I could not join there. But the reason why I really hate all this because all the papers that I was reflecting on and been listening to today, they're very dear to me because globalization, but how much we debated, how much we decided. There's a part, very integral part of life. So यदि मैं तुम्हारे का पेपर दिखती हूँ, नवीन जी का पेपर दिखती है, सौरभ का पेपर दिखता है, दिव्या जी, विवेक जी, आयुषी और आप का पेपर दिखते हैं, सब में बहुत अहम करी, and वो everything that we all discuss today, pure interrelate, and become very important for part of social science. Engage each and every be of best practice. आलोचक करना है तो वही काम करें। Once again, आदरणीय प्रोफेसर विंटर सर, thank you so much. Well, now you need to follow the paper review because just like the observation थे, चाहे वो रिपोर्ट को लेकर होगा या भारत या यूरोप या कि कहीं ना कहीं आपके निरंतर तरीके से आलोचना research का मामले में। Thank you so much. Sir, आपने एक शो किया I really like it. Thank you.
So, sir, and starting from Neera. Now, we want to Smarnika Hazara. I would like Vivek Singh sir to keep second. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Anything we go wrong. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And you take good care if you program faculty and yes, together in the same boat. Same thing as that. Yes.